Your media, where you are.
When I was a little girl, there were so many things I struggled with. Besides the fact that I was darker than everybody else, I was diagnosed with a skin condition called eczema. Eczema made things very difficult for the girl because there were certain clothes I couldn't wear, certain foods I couldn't eat, and I had to constantly keep answering questions I didn't like. The reason that I had to answer these questions was simply because eczema was all over my body, my face, my neck, my inner arms, my inner thighs, literally all over my body. The questions I'd get would be, are you sick? Are you allergic to something? Like, what happened? Ew, if I touch it, is it contagious? Will I also get it? All those questions were the questions that I would get that I needed to have answers to. And that's literally how I've been living for a very, very long time. Even now, at my big age, I still have eczema. But one thing I can tell you is that I am treating it way better than I did when I was a young girl. The one thing people don't tell you is that having a skin disorder has a direct impact on your self-esteem. But I don't want to get into all of that because today is not really about me. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of On the Flip Side. My name is Lebo Moemise, and I'd like to introduce you to my guest who will be talking about her skin disorder. Help me welcome my guest, the beautiful Ofentse. Hey, girl.
How are you,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you for joining all of us to come to have this conversation with us. I'm really honored that you are here. I think the one thing that before we start, I want to just let people know you and I are very similar. So we have a lot of things.
A lot in common.
So actually, let's start about where we actually first met. Rona, we met through church.
We met through church.
We were actually doing like a youth ministry program where they were training us to like be youth pastors, and Youth leaders.
That's a new term.
Oh, is that the new term? Not pastors.
Youth pastors.
Okay, well, youth leaders. and as it would be, we were the loudest in the class.
She was the loudest.
Who's she?
You.
You were also
No.
the loudest. I think that's what literally magneted us to each
together.
other, because we literally were the loudest in our squad, but also we just enjoyed the fact that we were able to have conversations.
Yes.
Right? We were able to speak, to actually get out of our box and
We
be
made
open.
other people to get out of their boxes as
We
well.
really did. And I think the one thing I appreciate about our conversations that we had is simply because of the fact that not only did I get to know you within the church context, I got to know you outside of the church
Outside of the
context,
church
which is also one of the reasons why I was able to know about your skin condition.
Yes.
So what is this? So I don't wanna tell people, because I mean I know it, but I want you to actually do the honors and introduce it yourself. Tell us about the skin condition that you have.
So I suffer from psoriasis. Psoriasis is a skin condition whereby a person produces 3 times more skin cells than a normal person. And it can occur in different parts of the body. So the one that I have scalp and facial psoriasis. Some other people, they get it behind their legs. Some other people get it on their elbows. Some other people get it on their neck. So with my scalp psoriasis and my facial psoriasis is I produce more cells there in my scalp. People mistaken it to dandruff, because then the skin flakes. So I get it on where I have hair, basically on my face. So I get it on my eyebrows. I get it close to my eyes. Mm-hmm. And I also get it just by my nose and my mouth and behind my ears as well.
It's so interesting that you say that, right? Because I remember when we were still doing the course, I would see flakes on your hair. And I can imagine people are asking themselves, but where is it now? Because girl, I don't see nothing on you now. What happened?
I think with time and with treatment, different kinds of treatment and different consultations from all these dermatologists and other skin doctors, and also Chinese doctors that help with skin conditions. I'm I've just gotten something that is permanent and surprisingly not from a dermatologist, but from a general practitioner who gave me a product that has kept me going up until now. And all the time when people ask me, do you have a skin condition? And then I say, yes, I suffer from psoriasis. Everybody just zooms in on the face to look for this skin condition that's not there. But I think people will eventually see it with the change of season because it's winter.
Yeah.
Winter, it gets really, really visible on the face.
It's interesting that you say that because, so I mean, we were going to definitely talk about products later, but now that you've mentioned, I think we should just dive into it. I mean, that's what we do, right? For people who have skin conditions, we go to dermatologists so that they can help us because we believe that they are the specialists in the field to help us with these skin conditions. And it's funny that you say that because even with me, surprisingly, the thing that is working for my eczema is not something that was prescribed by the dermatologist. Because for a long time when I was going to the dermatologist, I was taking treatment every 6 months, taking pills. You're on pills, you are on lotions, you are on, like they literally prescribe.
You're in injections, you are on everything.
And it's so interesting that you even went as far as going for Chinese kind of doctors as well. So when did you determine that maybe that's the route that you should actually take? Was it because what was being prescribed by the dermatologist wasn't actually working specifically for you?
I think dermatologists sometimes they just look at you and they assume without actually diagnosing you properly to say this might be, this might not be, I mean, I knew that I had psoriasis in 2013. We are in 2022. That's a long time ago. But I only found a proper treatment in 2019.
Hectic.
So from 2013 to 2019, I had nothing that could manage my skin condition. So others would assume that it's severe acne. I mean, I don't have pimples. I'm flaking, for goodness sakes, So it's I think it comes with the frustration as well to say I'm not getting anything from dermatologists. So what can I do? What can I try? And that's the route that I decided to take. You know what? I'm just gonna see any Chinese doctor that knows about skin conditions. What skin medication could they recommend, Because I know Chinese and Indians are very good with skin conditions.
So the product that you're using now that is working, making you glow the way you're glowing, was it prescribed by the Chinese or the Indians, or is it something that you found independently?
It's something that I found at a later stage. The one that was recommended by this Chinese doctor, it was a tea. Okay. It really did do a little bit of the job that it had to do in terms of cleaning my system from the inside, But the actual physical appearance, it didn't work as I had expected it to. So I had to then start all over seeing the doctors. What can I use? What lotions do you recommend? What creams do you recommend? What ointments work for psoriasis? Because it's one skin condition that doesn't want you to be dry. You always needs to be moisturized.
And it's interesting, and this is why I am alluding to the fact that you and I are very similar, is because as much as our skin conditions have different terminologies, it's almost actually the same. With me, I don't flake, but I can imagine like now you're talking about winter. It's the one thing that frustrates me so much because my skin is also going to change, and like you say, psoriasis, you cannot be dry. Eczema, you cannot be dry because you will scratch, and if you scratch yourself, it just gets worse. And I don't know about you, but with me, when you scratch, your color, the skin color even starts changing. Wherever the impacted area is on your body, it actually starts becoming darker. I don't know about you. Did you experience the same thing as well?
I think with me, because I'm light in complexion. So when it's itchy and I actually start flaking, then I just turn red in all the parts of where I'm affected by the skin condition. So mostly all the time throughout the year, whether it's winter or it's summer, it affects me greatly inside my ears and behind my ears.
Yeah, I think it's also because of the change of season. So I mean, your skin gets used to a certain temperature for a
Yes.
while. Then now we have to change into
And it
another
changes,
season, and that
yes.
season has its own temperatures that now your skin has to get used to. So it's obviously reacting because of the fact that it was used to, for instance, summer now,
Summer,
and now we are going into autumn. And even though we say it's autumn, technically it's winter because
winter.
it's colder than what you would actually have been going through during the summer.
And with me, for every season, I've got different products that I use.
Yes.
So whatever that I use in summer, I cannot use in winter.
Absolutely.
That's another frustration because even the products are very expensive. They're super expensive.
Absolutely.
So maintaining the skin condition, it's an expense on its own.
Absolutely.
Financially, and it's an expense yet again emotionally and psychologically, because people do not understand what you actually go through. People do not understand the perks that come with having a certain skin condition.
Absolutely.
Because then your self-esteem becomes affected. Your self-confidence become affected.
Absolutely. And I don't want to cut you, but I want to get to that a little bit later, because I think it's very important that we speak about the impact that the skin condition can actually have on your self-esteem, because there is an impact.
There is.
Obviously I'm saying this because for me, I'm also talking from experience. But let's start at the beginning. When were you actually, so you said you were diagnosed in 2013.
In 2013.
And you were still very young at that point in time.
I was very young.
So were you able to make friends? Was it easy for you to make friends knowing that you had that skin condition? Did you get any backlash from people who didn't understand what was actually going on with you from a friendship circle level?
Because I had already accepted personally that I've got this certain skin condition, and I had friends then, but they still couldn't understand, even if I would explain to them what kind of skin condition I have. And because it really got bad in winter, I would completely change on my face, my eyes, next to my nose and my mouth, and then my scalp, because it comes closer to the face from the scalp.
Because of the change of season.
Because of the change of season. So the flaking would happen on its own without me scratching or doing anything. So when people see that, they would ask, "Jorge, what's happening? What did you wash your hair? Why don't you wash your hair?" And I'm like, "Guys, my hair is clean. You don't understand. This is what I have. I've got psoriasis. This is what happens when I've got psoriasis."
So did they treat you differently from all the other friends? I mean, so let's say you had a group of friends. In your group, were you treated differently because of your psoriasis?
I don't think I was treated differently from the group of friends that I had, because at least the 2-3 understood. But because I'm a person who has a lot of friends, so the other friends, they treated me differently, because hence I'm saying the questions would arise. Did you wash your hair? Why didn't you clean your ears? And
Things like that. Why
things like that.
Like,
Why usatlhapa? And I'm like, "Ke tlhapile, why would I come to school? Ke sa tlhapa," So it's that you kind of get used to it, but at the same time, when you go behind closed doors, you suffer.
You do. And in a schooling perspective, I mean, you can imagine you still have to go to school, summer or winter. 365 times because you need an education.
You
I
do.
mean, so did it affect you in a school environment? Did your teachers see this? Did your teachers treat you differently? Were they actually trying to educate themselves, even though they were educating you? Were they trying to educate themselves of what was happening around you, or did they keep their distance?
I don't think they tried to educate themselves, because the teachers were also asking funny questions. So this is one thing about skin conditions and with people generally. We don't try to educate ourselves with different skin disorders, so that we know how to treat people that have
Those particular
skin disorders.
So it's interesting that you actually mentioned the fact that teachers don't want to educate themselves about the skin condition, whereas their profession is educators. why do you feel very tricky, girl? Why do you feel like maybe they don't want to do that? Or for your own personal, perspective and your own personal experience, why did you feel like for you they didn't want to do that?
I think personally, with because teachers are older people, and when someone had a skin condition in the community, they would be sidelined or segregated, or because we've got these theories going around about skin conditions. I mean, look at people who suffer from vitiligo, but they say "Ke mollo wa badimo." I mean, like, seriously? No, it's not that. So it's not even about the teachers themselves. It's about us as people. We do not want to learn. We do not want to leave our comfort zones, and learn about things that are happening out there. I don't think there's people that still understand what eczema is. I don't think people will ever understand what psoriasis is or even pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, no, girl, because psoriasis starts with a P, by the way. And I was like, that's why I had to ask you
it's
first.
Very difficult.
Yes.
So it's us getting out of our comfort zones and getting to learn about new things, getting to learn about different skin conditions. Because, I mean, if you find yourself in a positions that my parents had to find themselves in, of not knowing what is psoriasis. I mean, there's 3 of us in the house, kids, and then there's Ofentse, the last one, who has a skin condition that they don't even know how to call. So it's about us just starting to learn about things that we don't know about,
Do you think that we are still at a time where the community really is still very reluctant to learn? Like, do you feel that, the people outside of your immediate circle, the people that you interact with or don't interact with, people that see you with psoriasis or, and comment or not comment, do you think that we are still at a place where people are not trying to, or do you think now it's better that people are actually trying to educate themselves?
I think it's we're at a place where we still don't want to learn about these things, because we wouldn't have a person wouldn't have to explain themselves continuously about the skin condition that they have if people were willing to learn. You wouldn't have to explain to someone why your skin color is changing on your hands, So it's we people don't want to go in full. You will, like, I had a campaign. People did come to the campaign to learn about different skin conditions. So the number was not that big. It should tell you something that we are a community that is not willing to learn.
And that's interesting, because I was there also when you had this particular campaign, and I like the fact that you actually acknowledge the fact that, the number was not as great, because you would think that, I did expect a big turnout. I expected a bigger turnout because of the fact that it made me realize that we are, as a community, we are going through so much in terms of skin, that you'd think you'd want to know. And I remember learning so much about, vitiligo, and all these other skin conditions, because there are so many also.
There's so many. I mean, one of the people that were there, she was from Pretoria. She came from Pretoria. She saw the post and on social media, and she was like, I thought I was the only one who had psoriasis. And she was little. She was, I think she was 14 then.
At the time.
Because her mom brought her. She was 14 at the time. And the mom was like, when I saw your poster, I was like, you are going there. You are going to learn. We are going to listen what other people are experiencing. Because to them, they didn't even know it themselves.
And I think it's so important that we keep having these conversations, especially for the younger generation, because they don't have to go through what we went through, right? Because, I mean, we were at a time where we had to segregate ourselves, because at some point you do get tired of answering questions. At some point you do get tired of being looked at sideways. at some point you do get tired of hearing the whispers, but you literally have to walk away because you know exactly what they are talking about. And I think it's very important that we continue to have these conversations, because one thing I can definitely guarantee, there are so many other younger people who are so younger than us who are actually suffering from the kind of skin conditions that we have.
Like eczema. Eczema is a very common skin condition. It's not genetic. You can't do anything about it. If you have it, you have it. You need to learn how to live with it. You need to learn how to treat yourself. That's all that it is.
And that's interesting. And I know about psoriasis, right? So I know with eczema, there is no cure, you guys. So you can't just go on like a 6-month treatment and then you're done forever. I mean, I do know of little babies who do get eczema and luckily never get it ever again. So there's something about, when with newborns and eczema, but there are ones who are lucky and get away and never get it again. And then there's some of us who aren't that lucky, and we have it for the rest of our lives. And unfortunately, it's not curable, so you have to maintain it. So when we say maintain it, that means you have to treat it and keep treating it as the seasons change, as you keep growing older, as you keep doing these things. Is it the same with psoriasis as well? Is there no cure for it at all?
There's no cure for psoriasis.
Goodness me. So girl, we are this is us.
This is us. We are wearing our skin conditions.
Absolutely.
Forever. There's no cure for psoriasis. The only thing is managing the skin condition, treating it with different kinds of treatment. That's all.
And I actually just want to get, and let's get to that a little bit later. Let's speak about your family, right? Because you did mention earlier that your parents, as old as they are, but they have 3 kids, and here's this last little last born skin conditions that we don't know. And that's actually also still very taboo, right? Like, firstly, you have kids, and these kids literally are like fine, the first 2, and then this last born comes with all these issues. How did your parents deal with it?
I think at first it was a bit of a challenge because they couldn't understand what it really was, I started cutting my hair because we thought maybe if I cut my hair and I stay without having hair, then it will go away, It didn't. So for them, I think it was a bit challenging and frustrating at the same time, because then 2013 up until 2019 we couldn't find something that was good treatment for me, and when we look back trying to understand what could have caused this skin condition, because my mom has no skin condition, my dad has no skin condition, my sister has eczema, and so her kids as well have eczema, so that's what they have. Eczema is common, but then there's this Ofentse who's flaking and just turns red and itchy. What's happening? So it kind of disturbed them, but they were with me throughout the journey of actually finding a treatment. And eventually 2019, when I went to see my GP, and this is how we found out where the psoriasis comes from.
Yeah.
He was like, why this is for white people, coloreds and white people. Psoriasis, kiabona. So when I winka guy because you're a black person. And then he asked about my family line. To say, is there coloreds in your family or white people? In the line.
The bloodline.
And then we found there is coloreds in our bloodline from my father's side. So that's where
you probably might have gotten.
Yes, that's where the psoriasis comes from.
So it wasn't even from your immediate family,
No.
which is like also a bit crazy.
No.
Did you feel like your parents treated you differently from your other siblings because of psoriasis?
No, they didn't.
So they continued to love you, support you.
My sister and my niece, they would accompany me to the salon to go cut off my hair, because then for me it was a bit of a challenge, and I was a bit embarrassed because when they cut off my hair, all the flaking
would literally come out.
Yes, and then everybody's looking at me like, what's coming off her hair? What's happening? So the support was there. My mom, everything that I had to apply on my head, she would do it for me. So they were very supportive.
That's very nice. As in your siblings as well, they were also
And my
supportive.
siblings as well.
That's actually very nice. And do you think, because I mean now you did mention Jorge, your sister has eczema with her children. Do you think that now she was very, I don't know, like she was supportive because she also has her own? Do you think she kind of knew the support that you needed because she probably needed it herself?
I think it's that. I think it's that she supported me because she understood how it felt having something that someone doesn't have. Okay. Because she only gets it on her hands. So it was a bit of a challenge, Liena, for Yena, because there's things that she couldn't do. You know, when you have eczema, you don't just use any soap. Girl. You don't just use chemicals like bleach and all that. So I think she understood how it felt having something that someone doesn't have. Okay. And the support was just automatic. Absolutely.
You know, I'm so happy that your sister actually helped you with this, right? And was supportive of you because she herself also knew that, you needed this particular support because she, like I was saying earlier, that she probably needed you to support, she needed to support you because she also needed it herself. Yeah. But I want to move on now to the self-esteem issue. Please don't cry. Scala. No. I mean, I might be the one who cries actually, but how did this actually impact your self-esteem? Because there is a direct correlation between skin condition and your actual self-esteem.
Sure. Because it started when I was very young. Mm-hmm. You trying to be a child and be like any other child, but then you are different. So a lot of things don't actually make sense. Mm-hmm. During the consultations, nothing the doctor said made sense to me, but because my mom was there. Mm-hmm. So the minute people start asking you hore o tlhapile or a wa tlhapa, that actually hits home when you're a child. Because now when somebody asks me that, I'll be like, you crazy. Mm-hmm. But then it wasn't, it had a much greater effect than it would have on me now. Mm-hmm. So I think my self-esteem and self-confidence was very low then. Because I'm a person of a very high personality,
extrovert, loud,
and, and that was me. I was a well-known person at school, crazy, Even if you do get to a point where you just try and say, I'm not gonna pay attention to what these people are saying. Mm-hmm. So I think that my personality, Leona, it came into play in fronting. For me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when I'm alone, that's where it really hit.
Really hit you. Yeah.
To say, why would somebody say something like that? Mm-hmm. So the hurt actually happened when I was alone.
Yeah.
That's how strong my personality is.
So did you say that you didn't really change? So in other words, you only changed when you were alone, but during people you were still very confident. You're still like, I don't care what you're saying.
Yes.
This is me.
It would get to me. It would get to me, but I wouldn't show that whatever comment that you made really got to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't show. Mm-hmm. So it was yeah.
It gets difficult.
But now,
now you're a young lady. You're in a work environment. You're working, honey.
When someone asks me, what do you have? And I say, I have psoriasis. And then I try to explain to them. And then they still act funny. I'm like, okay, we can't all be the same.
So is that your approach now, especially also in your work environment? Has that been a conversation that has been had? Like how are you navigating that area of your life? Because you spend 80% of your time at work because you are working, like everybody. So
I think at work it wasn't a challenge because I work with older people. I'm the last born in the office.
Yeah, you're not the baby of the office.
I am the baby of the office. So, you know, when you're working with older people, it's like you're with your parents there. So, ba tlhaloganya gore this is what you're going through. This is what you have. And they supported me when I first started my campaign for the skin condition. The support they gave me was very much great.
Yeah.
Because they could see that the way that I was paving for myself to say, yes, I have a skin condition. It's not curable. I'm gonna live with it. But it doesn't define me.
Absolutely.
It doesn't define me.
And I think that's the message that we need to really keep screaming out.
To
say, your skin condition does not define you.
It doesn't define you. Hence, when I started my campaign, I called it Living with Skin Disorders in Style.
Yes.
Because you can look as great and you can still have your skin condition with you.
Absolutely. I mean, look at me. Look at me.
Look at her. Look at us.
Listen.
You know?
I mean,
so
sometimes
it really doesn't have to define you.
Absolutely.
It really doesn't have to dictate to you how you should live your life.
Yeah.
Because asibui. It's just a
Exactly.
skin condition. You need to channel it.
But I
to
mean,
say, this is how I'm going to live.
But the truth is, a little bit, I think it kind of does dictate, but not from an external point of view, but rather from an internal point of view. Because I don't know with psoriasis, and you'll just let me know, but I know with eczema, there's so many things I cannot eat. So in other words, even though I cannot eat these things, it doesn't matter whether it's a work environment, it's a family gathering, it's lunches with friends. There's certain things that I just cannot eat. I'm not gonna expose myself because the way linking lots of snacks of the things that I don't, I'm not allowed to eat.
You're not allowed to eat.
But there's so many things that I actually cannot eat at all, and with some of them I don't even know what they taste like. Literally, I don't know what they taste like because I was diagnosed again with eczema when I was very young, and there's a lot of food groups that were eliminated. So I can say for over 20 years, there's certain foods that I just have not eaten. And I mean, yes, I can smell it, but I can't eat it. So with you, is there certain foods that you've been instructed not to eat and you're like, madness? Like, why would you say that?
Okay, there are foods that I've been instructed not to eat. But you
cheat.
There's certain things that you can't just get away from.
You
can't.
Girl.
So I can't eat anything canned.
Okay.
Anything that comes from the water.
Yeah.
I can't have. But then that's a bit of a problem. You get omega-3 from fish.
Yeah.
So I can't say I can't eat fish.
Yeah.
So I do eat it. But then I deal with the consequences of me eating
the fish
later on.
Yeah.
So that's most of the things that they said I shouldn't eat are canned foods.
Yeah. I think for me, what was very difficult, so it was the citrus. Guys, when I was citrus, you're talking oranges, pineapple, like all these yummy fruits, right? It was dairy. Now, I don't even want to go into
dairy as well.
Oh, and dairy as well for you.
I can't take dairy.
I don't even want to go into dairy, guys. Like, let's about dairy. There's cheese, there's yogurt, there's ice cream, there is chocolate, and I'm being told to not milk. I'm
lactose intolerant, so I can't.
So milk for you is not a thing. Guys, I mean, I'm the cornflakes in the morning girl. I'm the, half milk, half coffee or whatever in my cup. Like, you can't just go and pour, like,
just coffee.
You can't. I can't. And they literally told me that those are the foods that I need to stay away from. My favorite fruit from a very long time ago, I mean, it's changed now. I loved oranges. Right now, as we speak, probably even after the shoot, I'm going to go have lemon water. And you're telling me that I can't have citrus?
You can't have citrus.
It makes it difficult.
That's part of the foods that I'm not supposed to eat for something else. So it's, the more you grow, obviously the body changes.
Yeah.
It requires different things.
Yeah.
So I'm just the person who, I listen to the doctor when I'm in the room. And then when I'm outside the room, I'm like,
you want to test the theory.
Dairy. No, I love ice cream. I love ice cream.
I love.
So I can't just give up.
Stop dairy. It's funny that you say that because I remember even, my mom was actually saying that to say, you know what, you probably are older now. I was in varsity that time and we had an event. So I called her, I'm like, yo, mama, we go eventing and it's so nice. It's a whole buffet and they've got XYZ. And then she says to me, oh, they've got X. I'm like, X is here. Guys, I'm not going to say this because I don't want you guys to poison me.
X is there.
But X is there. And literally, she's like to me, Izame, just try it. Maybe you've outgrown it or whatever, And I'm like, okay, let me try it. And I actually tried it. And remember, I hadn't eaten it for so long, so I didn't know how it tasted like. But I was like, okay, this is not too bad. Guys, when besides the fact that, I'm not allowed to eat it for my eczema purposes, it came to my realization also that this thing could actually kill me because I started swelling up from the inside and reacting to this thing. And that's literally what I'm saying to say, even though we don't let the skin condition dictate externally, but internally
in
it
a
really
sense
does have some sort of a movement there.
In a sense, it does. It really dictates how we should and should not live our lives. Mm-hmm. It does.
It does, ne? Yeah. So now when you go, so are you still going to doctors?
So now the only time that I go to the doctor is only to fetch my prescription. Mm-hmm. No more consultations because we finally found something that really works.
So is it something that the doctor has to prescribe for you?
Yes. And it's super expensive. Gosh,
I know.
It's so expensive. Roughly in a month for my skin condition, I spend like $900. 900.
And
so
that's
I don't
a
know,
minimum.
That's a minimum. I don't know how intense winter is gonna be because already the weather is like bad now.
Yeah.
So it means that winter is gonna be really, really bad.
Yeah.
So the treatment, obviously, it will have to change.
And it's funny because
it's a dry season.
Yep. It's a cold season. Cold. Your skin doesn't stay moisturized as long as it would in the summer. And now we have news that we probably might have the coldest winter we've ever had because that's some information that has been flowing around social media as well. So it's also giving us time to gear up and prepare ourselves with regards to our skin because it's about to shuba.
and the thing is, then it's winter, you wear warm.
Yeah.
But you can't be too warm.
Yeah.
Because the minute you get too moist, it starts itching.
Yep.
With psoriasis, it starts itching like nobody's business.
Yep.
So now, you can't be too moist, you can't be too dry with psoriasis.
And now what must happen? Because how do you even control that, right? I mean, you're cold, but you can't wear too many clothes. But then you're hot, but now it can't be too hot because if it's too moist, it starts itching. Because obviously I can imagine when it dries up, it then starts itching because it becomes moist. And this area or whatever area it was for you was so used to being like heat. And the moment you take off your jersey or something and it starts, getting air.
I can't wear beanies.
Yeah.
I can't wear beanies. And last year winter, I think with Polonex and all that, I got it behind my neck. And it came even in front.
Yeah.
So it was tricky. And I was like, I'm not a neck psoriasis person, but I had it in winter.
And that's the thing with skin conditions, right? Like you think you only have it in a certain area and then you grow up and then it moves to another area and you're like, bathong. And the thing is, because I'm doing this, guys, and I'm doing this for a reason because I used to have my eczema here, but it's gone now.
It's gone now.
That's what it does. Other areas.
That's what it does. When you start being content about your skin condition and say, I'm here. And then it says, girl, let me show you. I can go somewhere else. So, yeah.
So let's flip this conversation a little bit, right? Now, with you having the skin condition, with you being as confident, because I'm sure you are more confident now.
I'm more confident.
You are more confident. You are more about being out there. You're more about actually even talking about your skin condition because you still want to continue running these campaigns, which I think are a fantastic idea because these are conversations that still need to be had. So, because I know you also have a sample, Lori.
Someone.
Yeah, what a blush I love the fact that every time I speak to my guests about their significant others, they blush, guys. And I don't know if the camera like shows it, but now she's, the red she was talking about it's itching, my psoriasis. She's turning red just by me mentioning her boo.
The boo gives me psoriasis feels.
Love it.
Okay.
So your relationship with your significant other, how is it? Has he made you feel confident? Does he have an issue with it? Has he been supportive? Like, what is that aspect of your life?
Boo thing.
Yes.
He's very supportive. He's very, very supportive. And I think he made me have more confidence in living with my skin condition. Because last year, I remember early last year, I was it last year? Sometime 2020. Sometime 2020. I cut my hair completely off. And because the relationship was still fresh then, I was a bit embarrassed about it. I was like, no, baby, you look great. You look great. And sometimes when I complain and say, ish, we see this thing, he will like, clean it up, He doesn't have a problem with it. He made me feel, Hore, this doesn't define you. This doesn't make me look you differently. You're still beautiful in my eyes. You're still beautiful with that size. And sometimes when I complain to say, like, you don't even see it. It's gone, baby. You don't have it anymore. And I'm saying, no, it's not curable. It's still there. It's just that it's not visible. So he's very supportive. He's very 100% supportive.
That's amazing. And I think, and this is what I was actually saying in my episode with Naledi as well, to say, the older you grow, you start nurturing relationships that have an impact on you positively. Now, before we end the show, there are a lot of people who don't have that particular, support, who don't have that particular impact, who don't have that kind of a relationship with, other people because of the fact that they're still too young. Maybe they don't have boyfriends or they don't have best friends or whatever the case is. What is your message to any young girl, any young boy who is suffering from psoriasis and is feeling some type of way about it? What would you like to say to that young person that feels like this skin condition is making it difficult for them to actually enjoy life?
I think what the great message would be, irrespective of how the world sees you, that's not how you're supposed to see yourself. When you're standing in front of that mirror and you are applying whatever that the doctor has prescribed, have that confidence in whatever treatment that you're having at that point.
Yeah.
To say, this is going to work for me. And like I said, wear your skin condition with style. Even if you feel low at that point because it has overtaken your life so greatly, always wear it with style. It's yours.
It's yours.
You're chosen.
Yeah.
To say, this is your skin condition. You need to live with it. I mean, I don't think if I didn't accept it for what it is, I would be having such conversations about my skin condition. So I wear it with style.
Okay.
Whether it's flaking, I know why I'm flaking. So
the biggest message here is wear your skin condition with style.
Yes.
So if there's anybody who wants to contact you, right? Because I can imagine that they are parents, they are, young adults like us, parents of very young children who are struggling to have these conversations with, or who are struggling to accept this. Where can they find you on your socials?
You can find me on Facebook. It's Ofentse Kwapeng on Facebook. And we have a Facebook page for my campaign. It's Living with Skin Disorders and Style. You can send a direct message on that page or on my Facebook. On Instagram, I'm Ofentse_Felicia. I don't have a Twitter account.
Right, thank you, Ofentse, for your socials. So for my socials, you can find me on Facebook at Lebo Moemise, but you can also find this amazing platform on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram now, but you can find this platform, Your Media Essay, on Instagram. I just want to end off by saying that what Ofentse is saying is absolutely true. You literally can live with your skin condition and style. It does not have to dictate how you should actually live your life as well. We are living with it. We are still young. We are black. We are fabulous. We are gorgeous and beautiful, honey. But you wouldn't even mention that we actually have a skin condition. So sometimes if products don't work for you, then just throw them away. Just throw them away. Do what works for you. Do what you love to do. And remember, at the end of the day, with the skin condition or not with the skin condition, enjoy your life, honey, because this life was meant to be enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching this amazing episode of Living with Skin Disorders with me, Lebo Moemise, your host. See you next week, same time, same place. Mwah! Adios, amigos!